help you find your peace of mind. You don't always have to climb. We can just stay under covers. Leave the old world behind when everybody's going blind. Baby, you don't have to suffer. I want you gonna put it to rest now, baby. Got you feeling growing on me, shaking. Tell me how do you have it now? Yeah, hold me with your guard up. Lean into me when your worries they weigh. We will watch as they all fade away. Lean into me when there's nothing to say. 'Cause you don't have to go out every day with your guard up. Your guard up.
Hello, and welcome to the Travel Quest Network Weekly Chatter. I am Joshua Harrell, and this is...
Jason Block, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you. If you are returning to the show, welcome. And if you are brand new to the show, what do we do in the Weekly Chatter, Jason?
Well, you know, it's just a good old-fashioned family fun.
Yes, it is. We
like to hear what's going on across the network, so hopefully those of you who are on our private Facebook group are chiming in and letting us know about your wins and your challenges, and right?
Yep, that's the chatter part.
That's
in
the
case
chatter.
you are wondering why we
Chatter.
call it the Weekly Chatter.
That's right. And then we have lots of other things. You know, we try to hit some other fun things throughout the show every week. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to go, Joshua.
You got note cards ready to go?
I'm ready. We're here.
All right. So all kidding aside, this is the most favorite time of the week for me, I think.
It's fun.
The chatter part is you guys jumping in. And so make sure if you are a part of our members only Facebook group, I don't know if I can say it, keep it alive with your wins, challenges, and just chime in. And you know what? You can also give us just some love in general. That always feels
I
good.
like love on a Friday afternoon, right?
A little afternoon delight. All right, that's not where we needed to go. All right, so we are going to chat with you guys, and we have some news to share. We're going to go to the headlines. We're going to get Velma in here from Texas. She's going to share with us our top 3 revenue slots for the last week. And, you know, we're just here to have a good time. So if you're watching us live, keep it going. And if you're watching us on demand, make sure you tune in each Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Weekly Chatter, because you make the show, not Jason and I.
For sure.
But I make the rules. I decide who gets cut off.
You have control. You got the remote.
Yes, I know where we're going. No one else does.
On the Travel Quest couch, Joshua has the remote, everybody.
Yes, and yeah. So anyway, why don't we go over to the comments and see what's going on?
Let's go.
Okay. And also, if you want to comment on our new set, it's starting to come together. We have a new table. We're not doing the, what did Kara call it? It was like the
sportscaster table.
Sportscaster. Yeah. Now we're at the view. It's like the view. We got to try to the view. All right. So let's see here. Andy said, "Happy Friday the 13th."
That's right.
I forgot about that.
I did too.
Yeah. I hope it has been a lucky Friday the 13th for you. And
so far.
So, knock on MDF.
That's
right. Chris said, "Hey Josh, back at you, Chris." Teresa said, "Happy Friday." Daniela said, "Happy Friday, everyone." Let's see. Cynthia from Birmingham said, "Hello all, happy Friday." Aloha Rebecca said, "Happy Aloha Friday, everyone."
Aloha.
You know what? We need a lay.
We need some Friday Aloha stuff.
Yeah, we definitely do. We need more stuff on the shelf in general. So any ideas, we welcome that, because right now we've got like a little Egypt being represented. We got a little Mexico. We got a little Walt Disney World. We're kind of doing.
We're building the collection.
Yeah, it's in progress. Evolution.
Like everything.
Not revolution.
Right.
All right. Stephanie said Stephanie with an F said happy Friday. Debbie said happy Friday. Hannah, happy Friday, everyone. Kim said happy Friday the 13th all. And Stephanie with an F has some wins.
Nice, let's hear it.
Wins for me was changing my plan to go fee
Ooh.
to a flat planning fee, and no one is batting an eye. It's not the first time we've heard that.
It is not, and that's great to hear, Stephanie.
Yes, congratulations. Now, struggle, a honeymoon couple with a top shelf margarita vision and a Boone's Farm budget. I adore you, Stephanie. That's fantastic.
Now, I'm just curious, we don't maybe have time to go into it, but I'm curious, like, what are the dollar values that equate to those personas that you've given them?
Well, I think a part of future Travel Quest Network training, we can...
that should be part of it.
We should categorize.
Right.
Are you Boone's Farm
Right.
or are you Top Shelf?
Right.
Right.
And be fun. What are the things in between? Like, how many are there?
Yes. Let's see. Deb said, "Happy Friday, Travel Quest Network fan bam, on the plane to Cancun with my winter escape group." This is Deb, who we you did an interview last week on. If you guys missed last week's show, please go and check it out on our YouTube channel or on Facebook, and listen to the member conversation that Jason did with Deb, because it was a lot of fun. But her, just to kind of remind everybody, that she started with, what was it, a group of 4?
Yeah, it was 4.
And then it went up to like 25,
26 or 7.
Yeah. So excited that you are on your way, Deb. Have a safe and exciting time.
It's real quick. I just want to go back to the challenge a second ago on the Boone's Farm budget. Like, I think we should just talk about that for a quick second, because this happens a lot.
Okay.
Right, where you get a new prospect, or maybe it's an existing customer who their expectations are not based in reality. Let's put it that way. So I'd love to hear in the chatter, those of our members who are there in the chatter, how do you handle that? I mean, my take is, that's the point where you need to very quickly, before you spend a whole lot of time, very quickly pump the brakes and set those expectations.
Yeah.
That, okay, okay, Joshua, I know you like caviar, but
Right.
there's a cost to that,
Right.
right? So I'm curious how everybody else who's listening, how do you tackle that client who their expectations are not based in reality?
Well, I mean, and it happens everywhere. I think you have a contractor in to work on renovating your house, and you have the Boone's Farm budget.
Yeah.
But you are touting Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous as your examples, and then they're like, yeah, but that's gonna adjust the budget a little bit, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's easy to get carried away too, right? Before if you're not guiding them, it's easier for them, and they're just or you haven't identified what their budget is, and you're talking about different options. It's real easy to start talking about things that are quite high end, and that's really exciting. But then, reality comes when you start talking about the cost. So I'm curious, when most of you who are listening today, when do you jump into zeroing in on what their budget is? Like, how much time do you find is right before you don't go any further unless you can really zero in on the budget?
Yeah.
Because it's an area. Number one thing in this business is how much time does it take you to generate a sale, to generate revenue from a sale. So if you're wasting a lot of time, just dreaming, and some dreaming is good, right? You want to get your clients excited. You want to get those prospects excited. But if you're wasting a lot of time just, blue skying, that's the one-way ticket to not a very profitable business.
And I think from a client side, the client doesn't know what the parameters are within their budget. So they say, I'm not sure what my budget is.
Right.
But I want to say it was Velma who was saying, well, if I can come up with something that's $10,000, or I can come up with something that's $25,000. So where is your comfort zone? Mm-hmm. And that quickly, so you're giving somebody choices to make, and honing in on something. But that doesn't mean that once you find out what their budget is, that you max out at that.
Correct.
You always have that wild card option or the upgrade option.
Always.
I want to plus this.
Always.
So I'm going to skip some of the comments just for a moment just to see what the response is to Jason's challenge. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Whoa. There's a lot of chatter going on because it's the weekly chatter, y'all.
There you go.
All right, let's see. I think this is... Stephanie said, so this is on the Boone's Farm Margarita Top Shelf. We did chat about realistic budget. I told them it wasn't going to work, but they said, let's see how far we can get. They thought their 70,000 AA points would go further. I've been telling all my clients that whatever they think the budget is, they really need to add at least 20% to that, especially right now. Pricing is so high everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's really, what does it say?
Yeah.
Whenever you're building something, it's twice as much money as you expected and twice as long.
I was just looking for a potential trip next year to cash in some Delta points that I have, and I was just curious what a first class international ticket would cost. In this particular one, 210,000 miles per person. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
That takes a big dent in the bank that you're collecting with the Delta
that pretty much wipes out the miles budget there. But you're absolutely right. Things are more expensive now, and if their expectation was they were going to go on a first class trip for two pretty much anywhere for 70,000 miles, probably not going to happen.
Yeah. And Jeff said budget is right up front in the conversation. Qualify. Qualifu, I think that was a little typo, and qualify. Agree.
I like that. Qualifu?
Qualifu? Qualifu? Let's see. I just want to see, we're getting comments around the budget. Judy said, if they have a lower budget, I will give them something in or near budget and then something that checks their boxes if they don't match.
Yeah.
That's good. Very, very good. Sarah said, I told my client I needed them to double their budget for an Italy trip. They replied, okay, so when, I guess.
Right. Well, that's a great example. Just because someone does give you a budget, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the budget.
Right.
That's a number. It's something you can work with, right?
Yeah.
But people are willing certainly to go beyond that.
We tell a story often about one of our employee agents back when we had the retail agency who got a phone call from somebody who was inquiring about, I can't remember, it was a trip to Mexico for a family of 5, and it was a ridiculously low budget. There was no way they'd even be able to do this trip, and it ended up turning into like a $125,000 sale. And if I remember correctly, the agent was basically like, I can't believe you would try to take your family to Mexico for that kind of budget. And that client responded very well to that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times they just don't know what they don't know. So you gotta tell them.
Yep. Katie said, I don't pass go without collecting $200. Budget is discussed and planning fee is collected before any work is done. And Deb said, it is also good to educate clients since they do not know the current costs, et cetera, or how much a trip can cost. And Rebecca said, this is Aloha, Rebecca. She said, oh, Rebecca, you gave me a lot to read. Regarding Boone's Farm clients, if they're booking Hawaii, I pretty much know the cost before we get started because I do it so often. So when they tell me their budget, I can see if it's realistic or not. If it is not, I ask if their dates are flexible and if they're okay with staying off beach. Basically dial in on what they're willing to give up and what they can live without. Sometimes I have to recommend a different location, such as Mexico or the Dominican Republic or Florida if they don't have passports, to bring the costs down for them. But if it's super unrealistic for any destination, I let them know the ballpark costs are. I let them know what the ballpark costs are, and then I let them decide if they can up their budget or if they're open to doing a travel loan. That's interesting. or if they can make payments and book far enough in advance. There's a lot of different ways to work around it. Rebecca, thank you for giving me a script to read.
Right.
That was a lot and very thorough. So
Well done.
definitely appreciate that. But because Rebecca specializes in Hawaii, and then that goes for any of you in your niche, you know what your numbers are, and don't just because the client says this is my budget. Definitely, that's where you can also express your expertise.
Absolutely, and save yourself a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's the economy version, and do you want to do that? Here's the luxury version. Very, very good. All right, this is great. Kim said, so this is going riffing on the planning fee. How about those of us that are still new? I'm charging $100. I think that's great. You're establishing it at the very beginning, where I think many of our members would say they didn't start with a planning
Yeah.
fee.
Yeah, I mean, the general response to that, right, Joshua, is how many times have you heard somebody tell you that they wish they would have waited longer to start charging a fee?
If I heard you correctly, you're saying how often did I hear somebody say they should have waited longer?
They wish they wouldn't have started charging so early. How many times have you heard that?
I've never heard.
You've never heard that. Neither have I.
Yeah.
So I think that's terrific.
Yeah, congratulations. That's when you put that value on your expertise up front, that is definitely a qualifier.
Yeah.
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 And we had a dinner with some of our team members yesterday, and one of our team members, who is also a member of Travel Quest Network, she arrived at the restaurant and said, I just landed a new client for Paris, and they've already paid my plan to go fee. It was just, she knew for a fact, even though they hadn't even gotten into the details,
Right.
she knew, like, I've got this customer because they paid that fee.
Right.
That's got to give you a lot more confidence than,
For sure.
let me go and do hours of work. Right?
Totally.
I'm preaching to the
Totally.
choir over
Right.
here. I'm looking at him, and really I should be looking straight
Yes,
at
Joshua,
you.
I agree.
Oh my goodness. Stephanie said it is, Stephanie's giving me a script too. These
Oh, my.
guys, I mean, it is, Stephanie said it is one of the first things that we talk about after they give us their general idea of what they want from their trip.
Yep.
It's also super important to understand what they think that budget covers, because so many times they will say that they have a budget for XYZ, but that is not including what they expect to spend for flights. A lot of times they will think that flights are a different line item on the budget.
Interesting. So they have their mental budget is compartmentalized and it's separate. Very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes, I mean, if you're not even thinking about the flights, just looking at hotels in like a big city that you're going to, like you're like, oh yeah, I can do that, and then you find out that the flights are $2,000 per person for basic economy, and you're just like, oh, that hurts. That hurts. Let's see. Deb said she was kind of adding on to, it's good to educate clients. She said, I always check the current pricing on the vacation they wanted before I even take it to my clients, so I have a general idea. So doing a little bit of brief research ahead of time, good idea, for sure. Let's see. Stephanie added to her comment, she said, also try to get as specific as possible, because not a lot or a fair amount is very different for each client.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
And then Amy's chimed in saying, yes, charge the fee. yes, charge the fee.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I've said this before in lots of different scenarios. Just you stating that you charge a fee and kind of elevating yourself as a professional completely changes the mindset of the future client. That now that you've elevated yourself to expert, and that not only does it allow you to qualify the client if they're willing to pay that fee,
Right.
but it changes. You're not you're still, you want to satisfy your client, but you're not necessarily. They are respecting you as a professional, I think, is what my point is. I think generally I have experienced that in different industries for sure. Anyway, great little conversation all about, it started with the Booms Farm and
right.
Top Shelf Margarita. So there we go. So just kind of going back to some of the earlier comments before we got into that. Sarah said TGIF. I cannot, I will jump on that as well. Thank goodness it is Friday.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, I turned around. I think I said to you I was going to do something on Monday, and I turned around and it was Thursday. And I was like, I still haven't done that thing. This week went by
TikTok.
super. Yeah, that's the second time you said that today. I feel like that's.
It is the second time.
TikTok. That's great. Amanda said, happy 13th, everyone from Florida. Nice 62 degrees today. Let's not get into a weather challenge. Because across the country, we've got members across the country, and some of them are in the tundra or they're headed to the tundra.
I'm curious though, is anyone below zero today?
All right.
Is anyone below zero?
Anyone below zero. In Atlanta, it's just overcast and gloomy here.
It's weird. Normally we have in our little studio, we have a window that you can view into the studio as if people would walk by and watch us do this.
Like they're on a studio tour.
Right.
We have one little
everybody.
window. I think that we could start to.
But now, beyond the window, you can see out to the exterior. So normally we have it blocked off. So today, it's kind of weird. We're watching outside, and I kind of like it that you can see what's going on outside.
Yeah.
I don't know why you all needed to know that, but I just.
But you really, I really could just flip the camera around and we could.
You could, but it wouldn't. Trust me, it wouldn't be very exciting for you guys. It's a parking lot, but for me, it's very exciting.
That's what matters.
That's right.
That's what matters. All right. I'm excited about this comment. Amy said, "When getting input on my agent profiler from Joshua and Amy." Now to get it updated. So if you are not a member of Travel Quest Network, then you don't know what we're talking about. So I'm going to break it down. Or if you're new to Travel Quest Network, let me explain to you. So we do a regular agent profiler workshop. Agent profiler is our lead generation platform. Very, very great free opportunity for you to build your online presence, and you can you can do a lot with these profiles. And what I find very helpful about them is it's structured in a way, if you're not an experienced marketer, it's structured in a way that it's very easy for you to publish this profile and start to get leads. And there's lots of, I could go into a lot of details on it, but in the workshop, what we do is we show you how to really make that profile sing and help you get leads. And Amy so it's a two-part workshop. The first one is, the first day is really about kind of getting familiar with the platform, and a lot of people will, I don't want to say overcomplicate it, but they're scared to publish. They're scared to publish. So a lot of the first part of that workshop is just going over the psychology. And then the second part is really where we get in, and after someone's done work for a week. And Amy was on this week's second part workshop with our Amy and me. And it was so much fun to critique her profile, and she was willing to take all the feedback.
Yeah,
so
well,
I can't wait to see what she does with it.
I will say, so we've been on this for a few months now, going back to probably like June, right?
Yeah.
And so a solid 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And
That's true.
we have really seen some tremendous results in terms of the number of you who have built out profiles and got them published, the number of leads that are being generated, it's really quite remarkable. So if you haven't done it yet, here's a not so subtle hint: you should do it.
Yes. And one of the stories that I want to tell is Alan, who did not have a published profile at the start of the workshop. Between the first session and the second session, he got published and he got to something called super agent status, which we go into detail on that. Within 1 week, and then within 1 month started receiving leads for river cruises based on the work that he did. So I want to say, like, we give Travel Quest Network specific tips and tricks, the things that we know work, but it's also, you've got to put that into action.
Absolutely.
Right? And you got to know who you are, and Alan's crushing it, and Amy, again, who is on our team and she's a member, it's great to host that workshop with her because she's crushing it with her Paris, one of her additional bios in Paris. It's almost, I was like, okay, calm down, Amy. She got 6 leads in 1 week, this past week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's nice. So it's not just us talking kind of up in the ether, like, oh.
No, it's real.
It's real, and we know it works, and we can see how it impacts. And it's not the profiles live on travelleaders.com, but where the lead is actually coming from is from people searching on Google. So think about your website. If you have a website, you make that good, make that your home base on the web. However, take advantage of the space you can take up on travelleaders.com. And by the way, if you're a member of Travel Quest Network, it's free for you to join the workshop. So check the event calendar in Pro, and we'd love to have you there. And I know Amy would love to have you there.
Now, while we're on Agent Profiler, so those members of ours who are on the starter plan, that's not something that we have made available to them in the past.
Oh, it's very sad.
So as of right now, it's only available to the executive and the enterprise plan.
Yes.
Now, that said, next week, so if you were, listen up for those of you on the starter plan. If you are on the starter plan and you are interested in participating in the Agent Profiler program, the engagement marketing program, which we didn't even talk about, and a lot of other things, we'll be making an announcement on Tuesday with a short little webinar, probably Tuesday afternoon. I think 3 o'clock is what we have. 3 o'clock Eastern. Is that the time?
I
believe that's
we're
the time.
having that conversation.
So if you're on the starter plan, make sure to tune in. There'll be some good news for you there. So that's just a little tease.
Yes.
3 o'clock next Tuesday, Eastern.
And no doubt, if you do not tune in at 3
it will be recorded. You'll hear about it afterwards. But
you will definitely.
If you want to hear about it real time, 3 o'clock on Tuesday.
Yes. So you guys know that I can't keep a secret. This one is like bubbling up. Like I can feel this energy coming from him right now.
There are so many things that we have. I mean, we've been kind of quiet the last few weeks, like through December. We've been heads down working on so many things. I'm like ready to pop. I want to tell you all about it, and I want you to see it all and start touching it all. There's so much cool stuff coming down the pipe. So one of the first cool things will be, again on Tuesday at 3 o'clock if you're on that starter plan. So we'll get to unleash that.
Yes.
But a lot more coming after that.
Yeah, you see this nervous energy. Like
I really am just like ready to go.
Yeah. So anyway, good news for those of you on the starter plan. So tune in next week. And there'll also be some other announcements that I think will be extremely helpful for any of you. So now is the time, not to say goodbye, but to say hello to our Velma, who is based in Texas. Velma, are you there?
Hello, how are you?
It is so good to see you, Velma.
It's good to see you, both of you guys. I love your set. I just love it. I love it. Yeah.
You do? So
I can take 0 credit for it, Velma.
Oh, is it all Joshua?
I'll give you one guess who it was.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. No, there was one point when I was I had like everything all over the floor in the studio, and he just kind of came in and looked at it and was like, and I didn't want him judging it yet. I was like, just wait.
Me judge?
Yeah.
No.
It's coming together. Well, Velma, let's kick it over to you for the top 3 revenue numbers.
Okay.
Hey, Velma, real quick before you do that, do you have for each of these top 3? I know we like to focus on revenue because that's what pays the bills, right, everybody? But do you happen to have the sales numbers for those top 3 as well, so we can just kind of give the picture, or do you just have the commission revenue?
I could probably come up with that before the end of the show, but I
No,
don't
it's okay.
have-
We'll do it next time.
I'll do it next time. Okay. Okay.
Velma, do you like how he threw you that curveball there?
You know what? I'm kind of used to it. Because you know what? He's always thinking. Jason is always thinking. You know, sometimes you're like, stop thinking so much. But anyway, yeah, that's a different subject.
All
Okay,
right, you go, Velma.
number 3. Okay, this member sold 2 suppliers to earn a weekly revenue, not sales, revenue of $16,145. This member sold Gate 1 and Centrav. And so I'm thinking it was a tour and she did the air with Centrav. I don't know. That could be a rumor. I don't know that as a fact, but that's my guess. In the number 2 spot, $17,020.
Ooh.
This member earned this weekly revenue from selling Apple, Delta Vacations, and FunJet. Once again, 3 suppliers. Okay, drum roll, Joshua. In the number 1 spot, $18,309. Now, I got excited when I saw this one because this member earned this weekly revenue from selling 2 products that are just pretty much in my top products. I love these suppliers, Talc Tours and Fairmont Hotels.
Oh.
Yes.
Nice.
Now, have either one of you ever been to like the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise?
I cannot say I've had that privilege.
Nor can I pronounce it.
Tell us
well,
about
that-
it.
You know what? That sucks for you, really, because it is. Such
Do you
an
like
awesome-
luxury?
Oh, it's such an awesome property. How about have you been to the Fairmont Banff Springs?
I have been to the Fairmont in San Francisco, and
okay.
that is the top of it's top of Nob Hill, and it also is where they shot the first season of the 1980s evening kind of soap opera show, Hotel.
Oh.
Wow. Well, you know,
Useless information.
I can name drop.
Indeed.
I stayed at the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge where Bing Crosby stayed.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes, and I don't know. It's kind of out in the wilderness. You've got to be careful. There really are wild animals everywhere. When I stayed there, the moose were in mating season, and one morning I was going to come out of my cabin, and this boy moose would not let me come out. He would make that noise they make every time I open the door. They had to come rescue me in a golf cart. But I do recommend this property. It's beautiful.
It sounds like an experience.
I'm ready to go.
Velma, can you at least mimic the sound that the female moose makes?
No, Joshua, I'm female. There is no way I can make a male moose sound.
Oh, it was a male moose sound.
Well, yes.
Well, I feel like a lot of people right now are Googling. They've flipped
Male
over
moose
to another
sound?
screen.
Yeah.
But I will say that Rebecca, Aloha Rebecca said, I've been to the Fairmont in Banff and it is amazing. So
Yes.
you got an
beautiful.
endorsement there. And then Misty said, I love Velma.
I do too.
You know.
And I need a new word for a bucket list because, like, my bucket list is like, it's like a bucket notebook. Like, there's so many things I want to do.
Well, gotta get out there. It's like you should know someone in the travel business.
Yeah, you boys need new travel advisors.
I need a calendar advisor. That's time. Okay, those are some pretty good revenue weeks.
Yes, and I'm gonna
Velma.
do. It's still the sad
But
part.
hey, did you notice something though? Something interesting again this
What?
week in the top 3?
No,
Say
what?
it.
No cruise sales in the top 3 numbers.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Very-
But that's not to say we had tons of members who invoiced and had cruise revenue.
Yes.
And also,
sure.
I wanted to point out something else that I'm very, very proud of. Our members are selling a ton of insurance, which protects them and protects their client and makes everyone happy, especially if something goes wrong. So, anyway,
Yep.
doing a good job.
That's Velma's PSA, and then our PSA is
After you book, what do?
you got to invoice it.
Invoice.
Invoice. Well, Velma, thank you for joining us for the Weekly Chatter. It wouldn't be the Weekly Chatter without you, Velma.
No, it would not.
And hopefully you have a phenomenal weekend, and we will see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Velma.
Oh, she's fun.
Yep.
She's fun. And if you guys noticed at the bottom of Jason, I got rid of the little like flickering light there. It was driving me insane. So yeah. All right. So we got rid of that.
I didn't even notice, but I'm glad you took care of it.
You know what? TikTok.
TikTok.
I'm on top of it. Let's see. So James said,
Yeah.
you said you've got a like a bucket notebook, right? He calls it his bucket list.
I like that.
Bucket list. I know
like
sometimes
that.
I mumble, so I like that.
That's
I like
great.
that.
I like that.
Let's see. All right, so I got to scroll back. Whatever. Let's see here. Sorry, I know you guys don't care about this. Let's see here. Katie said it's 18 degrees in Albertville.
Well, you're close.
You're close. And Constance said, shockingly, not below 0 in Minnesota.
Enjoy the heat wave while it lasts, right?
Let's see here, and let's see. Lots of stuff going on. Let's see. Matthew said, launched my website today and booked 2 couples for the same hotel, same dates, way ahead of last year.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Way to go, Matthew.
You know what? Website, blog article, web page, social post. It's just hitting that publish button. That it's like
Well, as soon as you like hit that mental point where you realize it's never done and it's never perfect, and I just got to get it out the door
yeah.
and keep improving. But so if you're listening and you've been working on your website for a year and a half, and I know someone out there who is doing that, just publish what you got and then slowly improve it. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid.
You're not going to break the internet.
Right.
You're not going to break your business.
Right.
I guarantee you, when you first launch your website, nobody's going to find it right away. So just publish.
Yeah.
Publish. Take that space.
Yep.
So congratulations to you. And Aloha Rebecca, talking about the Fairmont, she said, I also snuck into the pool at the Fairmont Kialani in Maui.
Nice.
When I lived
Did you say
on-
she snuck in?
Yeah, she snuck in when she lived there. She snuck in.
I love it.
Yeah. So, and then Wendy adds a comment, and I don't know what she's chiming in on, but she said, unless you want to stay hidden. So I guess she's saying, if you want to stay hidden, then you can not hit publish. I think that's very windy to say that.
It is.
I think that's very windy to say that. All right, so I want to talk about something that is very exciting, very, very exciting. As of, I think it was
Yeah?
this morning, if you go into World Via Pro and you look beside your avatar, your picture on your profile, you can see your updated gym status for
Be still my heart.
last year, your last year sales, right?
That's right. So it's your current gem status for this year. Like it's your current gem status.
Yeah. Every
we-
time I say it awkwardly. So I'm just saying it's updated.
That was very awkward.
Yeah. Let me just say that it hadn't been updated correctly, or it hadn't been updated. So people kept saying, "I feel like I'm a higher gym
Right.
status."
Like, why
than
am I still
am."
right? So we will be updating those much more frequently. One of the things we've been doing, over the last several months, is a lot of back-end work, making systems talk to each other. So now that we have pieces of that done, that's something that we can update much more regularly, so you can kind of stay on top of that.
Yeah. But it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Exciting. But as an administrator of World Via Pro, I get to be a black diamond, and I didn't really earn that.
But it's also exciting. It's cool that we're able to publish those more frequently. But it's also exciting to see the number of black diamonds grow this year, the number of blue diamonds grow this year, the number of people just in the Diamond Club in general grow this year, the number of people in the Crown Jewels category grow from last year. So that's exciting.
I'm missing my crown, and I've hidden my jewels. Note to self, I will make sure I bring those in and add them to the shelf.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
cool.
exciting. And if you are watching this and you're not a member of Travel Quest Network, you're just so mesmerized by this animal.
Tiger sweater.
Yeah, my tiger sweater. Our gym status is our way of recognizing our members based on revenue. And they're different gyms for each kind of level, kind of grouping of revenue groupings. And this is revenue, so it means that this is travel sales money received. Therefore, the commission you have received. This is what we're tracking, and that's what gets you into the gym. The different gym statuses,
Right.
And then our crown jewels are the top tier, and then the Diamond Club is the even higher tier. So the fact that you said we have more people in the Diamond Club, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting, and that's the goal, obviously, from year to year, is to see more people able to grow their business to higher levels, and you're doing it, and that's awesome. And it's not just Diamond Club. I mean, it's people who just started last year and now they've grown, or started during the pandemic and they've grown, and that's as Deb mentioned in the conversation last week, it is a journey. This is not an overnight kind of thing.
Right.
So stay the course, and it's great to see your progress. So hopefully we can update those things, and obviously you're seeing, as you make sales, you're feeling that success. But this is one more indication to say, yeah, I am doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Stephanie asked the question, so the status listed is for 2023, earned in 2022.
Yes. So you qualified for your 2023 status based on your 2022 performance. Now, let's say you started in November, right? And you started at the bottom status. As you go through the year and you're qualifying for 2024, once you achieve a level for 2024, that also applies to this year. So let me give you an example.
Please.
Right? So if I'm on Ruby, right, which is one of our crown jewels levels, and at some point during 2023, I qualify for one of the Diamond Club levels, right? So that qualifies me for, let's say it's Pink Diamond. That qualifies me for Pink Diamond in 2024. But as soon as I hit that threshold, I also get that benefit starting now for the rest of 2023. So it's like you get a year and a half, or however much time is left in the current year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the example was very helpful. That's why I always trip over it. But it's Just keep selling and watching your gym status change. That's where it goes. But there's benefits that go along with the different statuses, and we're going to continue to
expand
add
that.
To add to that. So I'm very excited about that. And Rebecca said, "Where can we review the gym statuses and what benefits are included? I can't find it on World Via Pro," and that's because we made sure that it was in one place. Therefore, you were getting the proper information at any given time. So go to TravelQuestNetwork.com/gem, GEM, and you will see the current tiers and the current perks.
Yep.
Yes. Wow, that was a lot to get out. But I know you're excited about it because I've seen the messages, especially people who knew they were right there. They're like, why am I still showing as?
Why does it say that? Yeah. No, yes.
We're working on it.
I'm glad we were able to get that done out the door.
Yes, yes. And then just coming up on the calendar, wanted to make sure you're aware that we have our member all call. And Christine, our member Christine, she came up with that name. We had a little contest. So the all call it kind of reminds me of the old Mickey Mouse Club reruns, roll call. Didn't they do a roll call? Annette!
You got me on that one.
Did you? I'm not gonna
Did you just do like a shimmy?
Yeah, it was.
You just did like a shimmy.
I feel like once Wendy started to tune in,
that's where you
got
lost
nervous.
focus.
Yeah, I lost focus. But our member all call is a monthly call that we do with all of our members. It is one that you can definitely join live because we do take questions, and it's also recorded, so you can go back and watch it. But it's a great way for you to get the immediate information from our team, and also, of course, ask questions. So that is coming up on the 25th at 4 Eastern. You do need to go to the event calendar in Pro and register for that in order to get the link to attend. So please, please, please mark that on your calendar. That happens every month, but we'd love to see you in the all call. And now it's time for the headlines. And I feel like I'm going to get like a ticker tape sound effect for. So every Friday, Jason is in charge of gathering up headlines, and I never know what he's going to cover. So, I'm reacting for you. Okay.
Well, I got one quick thing before we jump into the headlines, and that is that webinar I mentioned on Tuesday.
Yes.
So those of you who are on the starter plan, you might want to make a plan to join in. But also, if those of you who are on the executive plan, I know a number of you have expressed an interest to add subagents to your business, and the executive plan does not allow subagents. So you might want to tune in on Tuesday.
Yes.
So just another little tease for you. Okay, headlines. So a big story this week was the FAA meltdown, right?
Yes.
And we had a number of our team members from around the country flying in to spend most of the week here in office with us. And we had a couple of meetings scheduled for Wednesday morning. And I look at our team's message. Oh, I'm sitting on the tarmac, or all flights ground. I'm like, what is going on here? So. Did you hear what the cause of this thing was?
No, I didn't. It was because I was monitoring our team getting in,
right.
And it was just like the computer melted down is what I heard.
Yeah.
The computer. So that gave me a lot of confidence.
So for those of you who don't know, they have obviously a lot of databases that are attached to this thing. One of the databases was corrupted, but fortunately they had a backup.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the backup was also corrupted. So then they got it fixed, right? And then they had to reboot. And I just found this part, I don't know, sad and funny at the same time. They had to reboot the system, and they were trying to line up the rebooting so it would minimize impact on plane traffic.
Okay.
Guess how long it takes to reboot this particular system?
Well, I know one of our team members was delayed 3 hours, so...
90 minutes just to reboot it. And then, of course, the downline impact. So I'm just picturing, this morning I'm looking at my computer and I got the little light on the start button telling me I have an update to install, and I'm thinking, I don't know, it's going to take 90 minutes. Like, I don't have time for that.
Isn't that the worst though? There are some updates that happen like, oh, all you have to do is restart your machine,
Right.
and the other ones are like, okay, it's going to be
The
30
one that
minutes.
gets me, it's like, don't unplug. Like, you got to keep this plugged in for the next half an hour. That
Wow.
always happens when I'm running late, though.
Yeah.
Never when I have time for an update.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's hopefully done and dusted.
Yeah. But very interesting. I will say that my first instinct when I heard this is, you know what? We came out of a pandemic where we couldn't travel. Flight prices are ridiculously high,
Yep.
and now the computer is broken. So
Yep.
I feel like
Yep.
somebody is preventing us from flying.
Yep. But I do know, despite those thousands of flights that were canceled, our air services team was there to help those of you who did have passengers, assuming you booked through Agent Air. We were able to help you get them rebooked or things like that. So
Right. So and let's just hit that a little bit,
Okay.
because we talk about Agent Air, our air booking tool, a way for you to book air, provide air for your clients, a revenue stream that many travel advisors do not take advantage of.
It's true.
I'm not just talking about our members, but just in general.
In general. Yeah.
But it's not just our booking tool; it's our air services team who
That's where-
supports. it.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to this thing, as Joshua was saying. Our air program, I'll line it up against any air program in the industry. Any air program in the industry,
The gauntlet is strong.
as far as your commission earning opportunity, bar none. But it's the service level that we provide on top of that. So when when bad things happen, and this is a perfect example, bad things can happen. Our air services team is top notch. Top notch. And they're there to help you if those things happen. So if you have cancellations, if you need rebookings, if you're looking for prices and you're having trouble finding something in Agent Air, our team is there to help you. We also have a really great after-hours team. So it's not just the ability to easily book and earn commission, which that's a reason on its own, but it's all of the post-booking support that comes with it. That's the real prize. So if you're not booking air, talk to some of your peers that are, and understand how it's, especially those who've been doing it for a while, how it's able to help their business. Because if you're not offering air to your clients, there's definitely someone else that will. And that's the last reason you want to lose a client.
Right. And I was just going to say, we heard that over and over again this year at the road shows that we did. Some of the attendees either knew or hadn't ventured into Agent Air,
Right.
and then the ones that had were like, "This is the best." Jesse and Tracy, the team, some of the team over there, so helpful. I mean, it really made the difference, and
They do a great job.
It's something that you do not get when you're booking with a consolidator.
That is true.
So, anyway, moving on.
Okay, let's stick with the air topic. I don't know if anyone saw that Air France and KLM now have NDC data through Travelport Plus. So for those of you who are, those of you air geeks out there, or GDS geeks like me and some of our team, that means that a lot of that NDC-enabled content will be coming soon as we move along our Travelport Plus migration path. For those of you who are not NDC, Air, GDS kind of folks, basically that means beyond just a seat, now Air France and KLM will have inventory, add-ons like, oh, you want the purple seat in row 37. Well, that's a different price, and now you can merchandise that. So it's the airline industry is looking to move in that direction where all of the add-on services, oh, you want a pillow? That's a separate fare. They're trying to monetize every little nook and cranny of that plane and everything you can do in and around it. Don't know if it's good or bad in the long run, but the air industry is driving that ship. So that was interesting to see that we're actually now to the point where more and more air carriers are pushing out NDC content. More to come on that. We're through the initial holiday period, right?
Yes.
We're into the swing of things.
Okay.
And we have a handful of new brand announcements that kind of hit this week. So anytime a travel company is introducing a new brand, I think that's something that we should talk about.
Yeah.
So one of them, I don't know how big of a deal this will be, but Hilton is introducing a new hotel brand. I think it's their 19th hotel brand. It's called Spark, and it's going to be a value-oriented hotel brand. So think, your Super 8s, your Choice Hotels, that kind of level. And really what they say they're aiming to do is they're looking to bring more consistency to that segment of the market because,
That's an iffy area.
well, it can be. It certainly can be, depending on some of the different brands don't have the consistency maybe that you would like, and so you're not always going to send a client to the Fairmont, unfortunately, and sometimes you are going to send them to a value brand, particularly if it's a domestic family trip. I'm probably not shaking out the wallet to take the kids to the Fairmont, right? So. Anyway, Spark, 100 hotels are in the process of signing up.
Let's just say that the kids don't even appreciate the Fairmont. So, don't give them that. Let them have the Spark. And,
Right.
And as they grow older, then
That's
they
right.
can. So these are not new builds. This is
my understanding is there will be some new builds, but they're doing a lot of conversions right now.
Okay.
And they're rebranding properties. So about 100 of them in process. They'll be opening later this year.
Okay.
So a new offering, if you have clients in that kind of value segment, something to keep in mind in case you see Spark and say, what the heck's that?
Yeah.
Now you know.
So that's an interesting name, though. I want to know, because Spark to me is electrical fire. And then I immediately go to Dolly Parton saying that if she ever stayed at a hotel and the fire alarm went off, she would definitely grab her wig and go. So that's how I connect Hilton's new brand to
this
Dolly
is how
Parton.
Joshua's mind works. Spark Hotels, electrical fire, Dolly Parton. I don't know what else I can say.
Now, if you guys did the same thing,
Okay. Moving on.
moving on.
So, I love river cruises.
Yes.
And if you didn't, I do. So, Uniworld is introducing a new World River Cruise product. So, we see around the world ocean cruises quite a lot, right?
Yes.
You're just like
I'm
cracking
sorry.
up over here.
Wendy said straight to Dolly. Sorry.
That's right.
I knew she was paying attention.
That's right.
Sorry.
Anyway, so Uniworld introducing an around the world river cruise where you go 3 continents, 10 countries. You sail the Amazon, you sail the Rhine, the Main, the Danube. You sail the Mekong. And in between, you stay at some really nice properties. They have a couple of Belmont properties, and a Sofitel, and a few other kind of world-class properties in between. 55 days. Sign me up. So if you have clients in that higher-end segment, that sounds like a pretty cool product.
Yeah, I mean, hello, knock everything off your bucket list. As James
Quite a few.
say.
Quite a few.
That's-
Quite a few of my bucket list items are right there. Yeah. And then I got one last thing.
Okay.
A new luxury cruise line introduced this week, also from a hotel operator.
Okay.
So Accor,
Yeah.
Accor Hotels, they own the Orient Express train operator. So the Orient Express is opening a cruise line or a sailing yacht line.
Murder
so-
included?
I don't think No, I don't think any murders will be happening. At least that's not in their brochure. So it's going to be called Orient Express. I want to read this. Silenseas. Silenseas. So it is a sailing yacht, right? So there's not big loud engines, right? And they have, and LNG engines that they could switch to make it more environmentally friendly.
Okay.
But it's predominantly meant to be a sailing ship, and so they're rather large. They're building 2 of them, 720 feet long, 54 suites. And I always I know you like luxury.
Yes. I like the allure of luxury.
So this caught my eye. The presidential suite on the Orient Express Silent Seas is 15,000 square feet. Now, most cruise cabins are, rather small,
Yeah.
right? And even suites are on the small side compared to their land equivalents. But 15,000 square feet, I mean, that is a proper suite. I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
But here's what I thought you would really love.
Okay.
And it's not just for the presidential suite. It's for anybody
Okay.
on board.
Okay.
They have a private recording studio. Should you wish to cut a demo while you're on board,
I mean, it'd be
that
different if
that
you
has
were
Joshua Harrell written all over. I'm
If
just
you
gonna
were
say it.
converting a ship, I
Yeah.
could see why you would leave that in there. But to add it, that's you were saying
It's
come cut your next
Yeah.
album.
it sounded pretty cool. Anyway, I thought it's interesting to see new brands hitting the market, and more and more of these high-end small ship lines.
That's awesome. Yeah. But I think if you are going to be the Orient Express,
Yeah.
you need to have some kind of element of like play acting murders. I just feel like you need to that Disney or Walt Disney World has the Galactic Cruiser
Right.
experience.
Right.
So I mean, I feel like you need to like be put in a room and someone is the murderer. Like
I think they'll have like charter murder mystery
Yeah.
ship sailings.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
People
it'd be
would
very-
people would pay for it. I mean,
Yeah, it'd be very relaxing. I promise. Yeah. Anyway, guys,
So those are the headlines.
the headlines. Thank you for doing the headlines, Jason. And I know you guys like it too. Thank you guys for tuning in. The hour's gone.
Oh my goodness.
It is just like flown by. So glad that you joined us. So glad that you tuned in. And we will be back next week. More headlines, more revenue updates. We'll obviously have some exciting things that we're talking about next week. So we'll
Yeah.
probably recap a little bit of
More
that.
of everything.
More of everything. More. There's curtains
Just
coming
more.
into the studio. Like there's lots happening. Always. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week. So take care of yourself.
Have a beautiful weekend.